Hello and welcome to our English news program on Aslan TV. I'm Waris Mohammed and these are the stories making headlines. The President of Somaliland and delegation arrive at Berbera International Airport. Ministry of Defense leads delegation to Awdal region. President Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud and the Somaliland ministerial delegation returned following their trip to the United Arab Emirates to meet the UAE leadership. The President and his delegation landed in Berbera International Airport.
The President of Somaliland, Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud, and the Somaliland ministerial delegation that joined the President for the diplomatic trip to the United Arab Emirates have returned, landing in Berbera International Airport. President Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud said the trip was one of great benefit to the people of Somaliland and that the steps taken on previous agreements already in place with the UAE leadership further strengthened the ties between the two nations. The President was joined by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mohammed Abdullahi Umar, who also met with senior officials of the United Arab Emirates. The President was also joined by other cabinet ministers of the Somaliland delegation, and the agreements in place involved the education sector, the health sector, as well as infrastructure and economic support, in addition to pledges of foreign investment from the United Arab Emirates.
The Minister of Defense Ahmed Haji Ali Adami led a ministerial delegation to deal with social issues that arose from the end of the local government elections towards the end of last year. The delegation met with cultural leaders of the region and had a successful outcome for all involved. This report was prepared by Aslan TV Awdal correspondent Dahir Mohammed Hadi.
The delegation, led by the Minister of Defense Ahmed Haji Ali Adami and other ministers of the Somaliland cabinet, included the Minister of Livestock Abdi O'Dahir and the Minister of Civil Aviation Mahmoud Hashi, and they met with cultural leaders of the Awdal region in the Awdal regional capital Boroma. The delegation and the cultural leaders of the Awdal region discussed at the meeting a solution to the political problem that existed between two communities of East and West Harirat, who fought earlier this month, with one man dying in the conflict in the Awdal regional capital. The conflict between the two tribes, between the East and West, was a result of the local governmental elections which was held towards the end of last year, and the group of the Selo region won more seats than the other community, which the other tribe then insisted they would not accept the local governmental election results. The delegation led by the Minister of Defense Ahmed Haji Ali Adami held this meeting with Hirirad community, and the tribe accepted the order and promised to bring the criminal who killed the individual to justice and bring him to court as soon as possible. And the delegation thanked the cultural leaders for their support to end this conflict and find a resolution, and their acceptance to bring peace and stability by all means. All the meetings between the delegation and the cultural leaders ended with a successful outcome.
The Minister of Health Hussein Mohamed Mahmoud Hogg held a progress report meeting on the targets for 2013 with senior officials of the Ministry of Health in attendance, which was held in the capital of Somaliland, Hargeisa.
The Minister of Health of Somaliland, Hussein Mohamed Mahmoud Hogg, held a meeting discussing the achievements of the Ministry of Health and strategic planning for the ministry. This meeting had senior officials of the Ministry of Health in attendance to gauge the progress of the ministry for 2013. The minister spoke at the event and confirmed that this meeting is usually held once every 3 months to discuss what the ministry has achieved and the obstacles preventing it from progressing any further. The minister said that this meeting will have a look at the annual plan for the ministry and the improvement of the ministry in expanding services to the Somaliland public. Minister Hussein Mohamed Mahmoud Hogg proposed to the attendees to focus on the management of obstacles to the Ministry of Health in regards to service provision. He also suggested the attendees emphasize on the ministerial strategic plan to develop essential services for the Somaliland public.
Somali Pen, a Somali organization designed with the intention of preserving the Somali language, had a meeting in the capital of Somaliland on the approaches that can be used to maintain the Somali language at risk of being lost due to external and internal influences.
Somali Pen, which is an organization of Somali writers, held a meeting in the capital of Somaliland, Hargeisa, to discuss the improvement of the Somali language, which is the native language of the Somali people, in a quest to preserve our culture and traditions through the maintenance and effective planning to develop the language. One of the officials of Somali Pen spoke at the event and elaborated on the necessity of developing the Somali language and the need for various support from Somali-speaking people across the Horn of Africa. They added that they've travelled to many Somali-populated regions across the Horn and met with elders and other Somali-speaking people to discuss the promotion of the Somali language. Journalists, poets, students, as well as other distinguished guests spoke at this event and discussed the need for a well-planned Somali written curriculum and the encouragement of the promotion of Somali writers, which is on the brink of losing its background, according to a report produced by UNESCO last year.
Following experiencing major droughts in the Awdal region, heavy rainfall has caused damage to property and some of the residents of Awdal region. This report was prepared by Excellent TV correspondent in Awdal, Tahir Mahmoud Hadi.
A report from local media announced that due to heavy rainfall in the Baki district of the Awdal region has caused severe damage to local production farms and left many with public damage and damage to property as well. Meanwhile, the prolonged drought to several areas and the heavy rains that have recently taken place have brought a catastrophic impact to the people of the region and their livestock, especially in the areas of Garissa and Falihun. The local press team of Somaliland National Television reported that these communities are in an emergency state and that the government will provide or should provide humanitarian support such as food, shelter and facilities as well as other basic needs. The community elders of the region also called on humanitarian organizations such as the United Nations and other international organizations for assistance.
You're still watching Excellent TV News English, the only Somali speaking channel with an English news program. And now for our international headlines in detail. North Korea is cutting its military hotline with South Korea, the final official communication channel between the two countries, saying war could break out at any time.
Pyongyang's anger at the international community, particularly the US, has escalated in recent weeks. The regime was slapped with increased UN sanctions after its February the 12th nuclear test. Also, the US has been conducting joint military drills with South Korea. Pyongyang resident So Chol-young told reporters, "My heart is burning with vengeful thoughts. Such provocation can no longer be allowed. I am ready to take part in a great war of justice to reduce the US mainland to ashes. They insulted the dignity of our supreme leadership. It may be their calculation that such a scheme will deal a mental strike to us," said another resident, Kim Ok-song. South Korea's government warned the North to abandon its nuclear ambitions and focus on looking after its impoverished people. Few believe Pyongyang would risk starting an all-out war, but Washington said it is prepared for any contingency.
That's all the news for now. Thank you for watching.